You've enforced sanctions against me, against Belarusians. You've started a hybrid war against Belarus. Mass media, economy, politics, now military, security. And do you want me to protect you, including from migrants?
Scott Lucas, who's a professor of international politics at Birmingham University. Welcome to the programme. Whose responsibility is it right now to help these hundreds of people who are caught up in this crisis?
Well, the point is that nobody is helping them because they are being used as pawns. They're being used as pawns, first of all, by the Belarus president, Mr. Lukashenko, who, facing protest at home, who repressing those protests, often violently, wants to change the narrative. He wants to have a different story, and he wants to basically use hostility to the EU and to migrants. So the flights from the Middle East were doubled by Belarus authorities recently to bring in more of these people. They were effectively given access into Minsk, and then they were pushed towards Western Belarus, towards the border. On the other side of the border, the Polish government, as your correspondent noted, is very hostile to migrants, not just preventing them from entering. It's hostile to refugees with anti-refugee rhetoric. And so it whips up the population against these, quote, invaders. And what's happened is that the EU, which had been accepting of refugees and migrants, say in the 2015 wave, is a lot less welcoming now. And so that's why you get this no persons line, that refugees and migrants are basically being used by authorities on both sides of the borders, but starting with Belarus, backed by the Russians.
Yeah, and just to pick up on that, because, we heard Ursula von der Leyen saying this is not a migrant crisis. So, okay, and you've said that they're being used as pawns. So, but these are migrants, these are refugees. So surely it is a migrant crisis.
We need to be honest here. We're talking about a surge in refugees and immigration. Millions, many millions of them, because of the conditions around the world in recent years, from Afghanistan to North Africa to Syria, 6 million refugees alone from Syria, many of them who live in Turkey. And we have seen that in what is an ongoing refugee and migrant situation, that they will get used by people. So, for example, earlier this year, we had a similar crisis on the border between Turkey and Greece. We have seen migrants being used for financial gain by people who say, well, look, we'll take some of these people in, but you got to give us lots of money to do so.
Okay.
And of course, we've seen them basically being ostracized and being refused entry at all by many governments, including the one that I live in the United Kingdom.
And just very quickly before I let you go, we've heard that EU ministers want to approve even more sanctions on Monday on Belarus. And yet we've heard President Lukashenko saying that he will retaliate against these sanctions and possibly cut gas. This is going to escalate. And can he actually cut that gas?
Oh, he can cut gas, but it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face, because he cuts off revenue for the Belarus authorities, and that increases its dependence on Russia. This is a bit of chest thumping on both sides. The fact is that no sanctions on the one hand, no Belarus sanctions on the other hand, are going to help those refugees and migrants. And we've got to be honest with you, the easy play here, because we're talking about thousands of people, not millions, but thousands, is to let these people into Poland, into the European Union, give Poland for support for processing them, which shows the world a positive way of dealing with refugees and migrants, rather than this rather negative approach, which says everything is a crisis, but a crisis, in fact, in this case, being manufactured by governments.
Scott Lucas, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for your analysis on this very sensitive subject.